This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. I want to thank Mohammed for being on this podcast. Mohammed, thank you for being here. I know you had a long day, a long and exhausting day. I want to thank Missy. Missy, hello. How are you, ma'am?
Hello, sir. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Exhausted, I can tell you that. I've had a long day, and the details that are going to be coming out on this podcast are disturbing. Becky, thank you for being here. Dre, thank you for being here. We're going to have the rest of our friends join us as the podcast go on. We're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. And this is not another boring podcast. You know, I've been thinking about just changing the podcast to just another boring podcast. I'm in love with the title. I'm just so in love with the title that I just can't help myself. So, if it does change, don't try to talk me out of it. Now, I have an interesting folder, an interesting file. And in that file, I think there's echo coming out of Dre. Let me mute Dre. Dre, there you go, sir. Wait, not you. I think I can mute you from my end. Dre, if you can do me a favor, you can mute your. There you go. If you want to say anything, just unmute and feel free to just cut through the conversation. And I say cut because I don't let you talk. I don't let anybody talk, apparently, because I just go on and on into my conversation. So I'm going to ask everybody, if you want to be part of the conversation, for the love of God, cut into my conversation. And I will cut back. So we are here to have a conversation. Just want to talk. Why can't we talk? You know, it seems this county is happy that when you're so stressed out, you've got this PTSD from what they put you in, and they see you in that when they see you upset or reacting to what they're doing to you. They love when you're on a bullhorn screaming, yelling your lungs out. They love that. But when you take a step back and you have a conversation, they get terrified. They get terrified because in this conversation, details are going to come out about what they're doing to you. And in this community, there is a lot of individuals that are there for the details. They want to know what goes on in this community. Today we went to a beautiful town hall meeting, and our delegate is Delegate King. Beautiful, beautiful lady. It was a beautiful opportunity to talk about a couple of files that we discuss on this podcast. We talk about the Mustafa Al-Jazari file. Mohammed got up and addressed the Mustafa Al-Jazari file. We posted that video from that town hall meeting on our social media platform. I got up, I talked about the Tatiana David file. And Delegate King is listening, among other individuals. Thank you. And the key word is allege. Alleged. The key word is alleged. And I'll tell you, my sister-in-law makes amazing tea. I think it's one of the reasons that I'm so nice to her. Is tea and soup. And I do my best to be the nicest person to her for tea and soup. Mohammed, you've had a long day. There's a lot of details that are going to be coming out of today. We have a beautiful file, And what we're finding out is disturbing. Apparently, Elaine has been busy. Been busy lying to the federal court. So not only you have a situation where she files a civil lawsuit against Mustafa brother in Warren County, apparently she filed the same documents in federal court. Do you know how disturbing this is? Lady, by the time I'm done with you, I promise you, you're going to end up in prison. I've got documents, I've got videos, I've got audios that once this goes on the record, you're going to end up in prison. You've lied. An officer, I mean, picture this, Mohammed, picture this. An officer of a court lying to the court.
The federal court.
To federal
That
court.
was a good idea.
I have no idea, Missy. I have no idea. Who told her that was a good idea? Well, I'll tell you, maybe she didn't bet on the fact that I have recordings, I have videos, I have documentations of what she engaged in.
That's exactly what it is. She was not counting on you having recordings of November 1st, that conversation that took place. I mean, in the court, in the federal court. I mean, first of all, how is anything she filed with you related to Mustafa's case?
I mean, she filed those documents on Mustafa's civil lawsuit. She put it on the record.
On Mustafa's federal case
So,
against the jail.
so Judge Hilton doesn't know.
I mean, he's reading this stuff and he's like, wow, what a horrible this person, whoever this Amar Al-Jazari is. She said you stole her, she said when you got out of court, that she immediately fired you. That's a lie.
That's what she said, yeah.
You have a recording of what happened on November 1st.
I mean, you were there. I mean, there's a recording. That recording has been submitted to Judge Funk in Warren County. That's on the record. Mohammed, on the recording. I mean, it's literally on an audio recording. Did she not say, Amar, you're going to continue working for me? I'm going to continue to pay you under the table. We need to separate ourselves as two entities. Publicly pretend that we're separating ourselves. I'm going to pretend I fired you, but you're still working for me under the table. I'm going to continue to pay you under the table.
That's crazy, to be honest with you.
Go out there, take the videos, and go podcast in front of the governor. That's the only way you're going to get justice for your brother. That's the only way I can continue fighting for your brother. I mean, those are literally a recording of that conversation. But when you read what she filed in federal court, it's disturbing. My favorite part is the April 5th conversation. She says that Rachel Adams, the jail lawyer, came up to her and told her by 5 o'clock you should remove the jail videos that you made public. So everybody got to see Elaine make a video publicly or release the jail videos. Everybody got to see those. But what everybody doesn't know, and Judge Hilton doesn't know, and Judge Funk doesn't know, Judge Hilton in federal court, he's being told in these documents that Elaine, as soon as Rachel Adams, with Thomas McMillan, the jail lawyer, came up to her and told her there is a judge order by Judge Hilton, that you should remove the videos, the jail videos by 5 o'clock, that she complied. How would everybody like to know that I have a recording of Elaine telling me the videos are already public? She's scheming that the videos are already public. We're going to keep them until we're going to continue keeping them F5. She's planning with me how we're going to continue to disperse these videos and pretend that she's removing them. So behind closed doors, she makes deals with me on how to make these videos dispersed out when she's telling Rachel Adams, I'm doing everything I can to remove the videos. And then she turns around and she says, Elaine, that Elaine is doing everything. She tell Rachel Adams that she's doing everything she can, and the horrible monster Mustafa brother is the one releasing them. Lady, you're sitting there making deals on how to make these videos come out. I have a recording, but you're telling Rachel Adams, the federal court, Warren County, Judge Funk, and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth that you're doing everything you can to remove the video. That's not true. And this is going to be on the record. That's disturbing. This is in federal court.
I mean, Warren County knows now after you submitted your exhibits, but we didn't know that it was that she had filed it through federal court too. So now, wait till Judge Hilton gets these recordings. Wait till the federal court finds out that she's been lying to them all along, just to please the jail lawyers. That's really her ultimate goal. She wants to prove to the county, she wants to prove to the jail lawyers that she's on their side. She wants to show them, look, I'm not defending Mustafa anymore. Okay? I'm not defending Mustafa anymore. I'm on your side. And to prove that to them, she's putting all this negativity about you, all these lies, all these false accusations about you having gone through her office, that you what is she? What was the word?
That I hacked her system
That you hacked her system
after she fired me. I mean, what's really disturbing here is she says I fired Amar, my paralegal, because he got up in court, yelled out to Judge Hilton, "I'm releasing all the videos, and you can't stop me."
And she said she fired you on the spot.
She said she fired me on the spot. Now, how does everybody like to know? How does Judge Hilton like to know? How does Warren County like to know, including Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, that she was so happy and relieved that I actually got up and told the judge to go fuck himself?
That's what she said.
That's what she said. It's on a recording.
Said, I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that. That's on the recording.
And she says, and she goes off on Judge Hilton. This is a corrupt judge. He's blah, blah, blah. He's not reading anything. He's not watching anything. This is just a corrupt old man that sits behind the bench in federal court. Does Judge Hilton like to know? I mean, these recordings are going to be on the record.
And she wants to
but Judge, but in the recording, she
Amar is disrespectful. He doesn't what's the word? He doesn't comply with court orders. He badmouthed the court. Badmouthed is the judge. But in reality, I mean, that's what she said.
You know what's really interesting? I'll tell you. When I was there that day, I was at a capacity of my brother is in court. I wasn't on a capacity that I was a paralegal. I have a recording where she told me, today, you're not a paralegal. You're just your brother. You're just sitting in your brother's court proceeding.
That's what she told you.
That's what she told me. I have the recording.
Should I come up with you?
Should I come up with you? Am I on your team as a as a paralegal? She says, absolutely not. Today, you're a family member. Now, I have every right to get up and be upset. I said, Judge Hilton, I'm going to release it. I'm going to release the videos, and you can't stop me. Now, mind you, Elaine is the one that released the videos.
Elaine had already made these videos public.
And she's conspiring with me behind closed doors to continue releasing them.
I mean, you as a client, you're getting advice from her, telling you that the only way Mustafa is going to get justice is if these videos gain traction in the community. And the community is going to push this judge, push this court to take action. That was her strategy, is that how do we get her paid by these civil rights organizations, right?
I mean, in that recording, she goes on and she talks to us. She's like, "Can we get CARE organization to fund her?
To fund me?
How
can we get CARE on board?
Oh my God!
To pay for this?"
I mean, wait a minute. Is that the same lawyer that a month ago we're on a podcast and she specifically asked me, Amar, do you have access to your brother's discovery? Criminal discovery? I said, absolutely. How did you have it? A police officer gave it to me. That's what I'm telling her on the podcast. And she's like, okay. I mean, I'm actively talking about certain details that you can only talk about if you have the discovery. And then she flat out asked me, Amar, and she's okay with it, by the way. She's like, okay.
She's okay with it.
She's okay with it. Okay? But all of a sudden, she wants to say, oh, Amar hacked into my system 5 days after I fired him. Lady, what are we talking about? I mean, if it wasn't on video,
she doesn't realize that entire day, November 1st, that day of court, everything was recorded on that day. Everything she said, everything was recorded. I didn't even know you were recording, to be honest with you. I didn't even know you were recording. But, I mean, good thing you were recording because she's denying every bit of it.
can you believe a situation that if Mustafa brother was not recording the conversations?
You know, similar to Robert Drum's conversation with Mustafa. If I hadn't recorded that conversation, it would have been Mustafa's word against Robert Drum, and obviously, who are they going to believe? The officer. I mean, in your case,
People will never learn.
you know that is so true. You know, I mean, Amar,
Do you not realize you're dealing with Mustafa brother? I record all my conversations.
I mean, if you look up Amar, if you look
If you
up
just-
your name, the first thing that pops up on Google on YouTube is Amar with a bullhorn at Prince William County Court outside of the courthouse, yelling and screaming, "I stole the dash cam from the prosecutor."
Let's try it. Let's
I
try
stole
it.
the
Let's
discovery.
type Amar Al Jazari in YouTube, and let's see what the first thing that comes up. I mean, this you gotta admit this is.
Investigation. You have the media in your pocket, and they're telling the families, they're telling that all guys are hooked up. And no foul play, hooked up. But I'll tell you what, sir, I have eyes and ears inside your jail facility. I started a program.
I started a program. I'm telling the sheriff, I've got eyes and ears inside your facility.
Are reaching out
I started a program.
forward, and they're telling me what those correctional officers are doing. And it's systematic. It's the same process. They go in, handcuff them behind their backs, strip them naked, beat them up, taser them, and deny them medical consult. They leave with no food. They shut off the water supply, leave them in their room, and some are dying.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
What you just said right there.
Yeah.
What you just said right there.
Yeah.
You said they leave them in their room. They shut off the water supply. They take away their mattress. They take away their clothing. What date was that? That video,
This
what date?
was 1 year ago.
1 year ago. 1 year ago, Amar is talking about correctional officers would leave an inmate naked, without a mattress, shut off the water supply, like abuse, torture. Okay? And then 2 days ago, we get a phone call. What was it, Saturday? Saturday. Okay? 2 days ago, we get a phone call from an inmate saying they shut off my water, they took my mattress, they took my clothing, and they didn't even give me food to break my fast. This is a year
They took
ago.
his mattress and cover and all, and they left him in a room freezing because they starved him, and he was complaining, telling them, "I'm starving."
I mean, the audacity of these correctional. What's his name?
Correction-
Canali
Can-
Darling.
Yep.
First Sergeant Darling. You know, it's crazy that the same names keep coming up. It's the same names with the same type of abuse.
They're promoting them.
The
They're
same-
giving them higher pay.
Gordon, Foster, Darling. You know, these are the same names that keep coming up,
They're giving them hush money. Every time you talk about them, they're upgrading their status.
and they're getting raises. Their salary is increasing. I mean, Vincent, what's his name? Vincent Thompson.
Vincent Thompson.
Vincent Thompson, okay, who sexually abused Mustafa, who's on video on that CCTV, who knocked that one kid's tooth out after putting him in shackles. What's his name? Diaz?
Diaz. Walter Diaz.
Walter Diaz.
Walter Diaz Acosta.
Okay. This correctional officer puts an inmate in shackles and then knocks his tooth out on camera. He's not even scared. He'll do it in the hallway. They'll do it like out in the open pods. And they'll do it to set an example for any other inmate. If you file a grievance, If you complain about anything, one person complained about not having enough books. They put him in solitary confinement. Imagine, you complain about not having enough books, something to read. They'll throw you in solitary confinement. If you file a grievance in the system, they'll attack you. They'll put you in solitary confinement. Okay, they'll tamper with your food. You won't get wrecked. I mean, D-Pod hasn't gotten wrecked in 6 months.
I got a phone call from an inmate 2 days ago that is telling me for 6 months he hadn't gotten wrecked, and the excuse they use is that the door is broken. You're telling me with all the money, this is a private jail, with all the money that this jail is getting, with all the money that Sheriff Glen Hill is getting, you can fix $55 million.
$55 million. Imagine. 55.
And you can't fix a door?
Can't fix a door.
We're talking about solitary confined inmates in D-Pod where they can't get a rec. Rec is when you're in solitary and you get 1 hour to go out of your small confined cell to walk around.
1 hour out of 24 hours. 1 hour. And by the way, these are pre-trial detainees, so they haven't even been sentenced. They haven't gone to trial. They haven't had their day in court. You could be driving with a suspended license, okay? You get arrested, sent to Prince William. They don't care that you're driving on a suspended. That's your charge. They'll put you in solitary confinement, and you'll wait in solitary confinement until your day of court, okay? And in the meantime, they're going to torture you. They're going to put you in 24-hour lockdown. Imagine, 24-hour lockdown. I mean, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's dad, mom. And these people are just openly abusing humans. They're just openly abusing these people. And they think that there's no accountability. I mean, when you have somebody like Vincent Thompson knock somebody's teeth out after putting them in shackles and not get held accountable, beat Mustafa up, kick him on camera while he's unconscious, and not get held accountable. Take people's mattress, shut off people's water, watch people suffer, okay, while you're abusing them, and then you get a raise. What kind of standards are you setting for the correctional officers at this facility? What kind of standards are you setting? Okay? And then you have state representatives. When you tell them about it,
it's not my jurisdiction.
Well, one, they'll tell you, what are you talking about? I mean, I can't imagine that we stayed out there for over 6 months on the property for 6 months. There was tents. The police came out. They changed the rules to the courthouse grounds. They changed a public parking to a private parking.
And not one media outlet report on it within our community?
The media doesn't cover it, and you have local representatives not even knowing anything about this jail. I mean, where are these representatives? Let's be real. Where are these representatives? We've complained to the governor. We've complained to the attorney general, to the office of inspector general. We've complained to our congresswoman at the time, Abigail Spanberger, who now is running for governor. Okay?
You should have seen the look on Deshandra's face today during the town hall meeting. She looked like she wanted, huh?
Deshandra Jefferson.
Deshandra Jefferson, the supervisor, the board supervisor,
the president for
the board supervisors.
For Prince William.
I mean, she sees me in that meeting. I swear to God, the look she gives me, she wants to rip my head off. She's like God damn it, he's here. God damn it, he's here. He's going to talk about stuff that I want to put under this carpet. I want to keep a lid on this stuff, and he's here. He's going to talk about it. Lady, I thought you're elected for this community.
She's directly responsible for the police department. The same police department that took the life of this young lady, Tatiana David. The same police department that took the life of Juan Campos, or beat him up, and then sent him to the jail. The same police department that's falsified Mustafa's police report. I mean, this police department is pretty much just running wild, okay? And you have people like Deshandra Jefferson that when you go to the Board of Supervisors and you tell them, I have a disturbing body cam, I have a very disturbing body cam of a serious crime being committed by police, and I want to share it with you. they'll tell you, post it to the internet.
I mean, I want to tell you, I want to, you know,
This is one of the supervisors. That's what she told
that
me.
is crazy.
She said,
Post it to the internet. Like, it's not her job. Just go ahead and post it to the internet. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the community is wide awake. If they're awake enough to have a reaction, and maybe we'll do something.
This is a very disturbing video. I'm telling you, I don't want this video. I don't want to see this video on my files. I don't want it in my photos.
You're talking about the Tatiana video when they shot her and they dragged her out of the vehicle?
I don't want this video. This is a very disturbing video.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want this video on my devices. Okay? We're trying to give it to someone in government to deal with it. And it's like nobody wants it. It's like the hot potato. Nobody wants it.
Well, Amy Ashworth went to a judge and she got an order. She got the judge to give her an order to seal off the body cam because there's police misconduct on it. I mean, police misconduct is a fancy word for they killed a black woman and they covered it up. They said, "Oh, we found her outside the vehicle with a gunshot," insinuating that it's the boyfriend when it's the police that shot 50 vehicle into an abductee. I mean, I thought she was an abductee. What are you doing shooting 50 bullets, AR-15 bullet into that vehicle? Drag her out of the vehicle, put her somewhere else, and say, "We found her outside the vehicle." That's the body cam. That's what go look at the body cam.
And you know, delegate today says she hasn't heard of it. Okay. And I'm not surprised because when crimes like this happen by police, and the Commonwealth attorney immediately runs to her seals, she seals off this cam, she seals off that case, she's sealing off all the. I mean, just the other day we saw a report by the Prince William Times where she's now ordered to pay $22,000 in fines for violating FOIA requests. Okay? Imagine what else she's hiding. Okay? Every time you have a case with corruption, the Commonwealth attorney signs off on the seal. She runs to a judge and gets a seal order put in. Okay? And these delegates, these state representatives, they don't know what's going on. Okay? Well, we're here to tell you that this is what's happening in your community. This is our community. And we're going to make sure that we shed light on it so that, number one, it doesn't happen again, and so that this family can get justice, so that Mustafa can get justice, so that these people that have their teeth knocked out by officers like Vincent Thompson or Canali Darling, that these people are held accountable.
This is Mohammed. This is a video about a year ago when we were camping in the parking lot, protesting Mustafa's confinement and the condition of Mustafa's confinement. Mustafa was beaten up, was sexually assaulted, was denied medical, and we literally, the family, we were camping in the parking lot. Now, and instead of the county coming out and addressing us, and instead of DeShonda Jefferson coming out and going into that jail, giving Mustafa medical, instead she mechanizes the county attorney and mechanized 4 agencies. Prince William County Police, this is a video. Prince William County Police, Manassas Police, the Sheriff Department, and the county workers to show up, by force, remove our equipment, and reconstruct the parking lot so that way we can't park our RV. I mean, this is a disturb.
You can't have an RV so that you can't park overnight.
You can't continue to protest.
Yeah.
They made it so difficult to protest, and there was 40 personnel from 4 different agencies. A drone was flowing over our family. I mean, in the media, it's completely silent. I mean, how could you have a situation like this within a community and no one in the media will report on it? No wonder DeShonda Jefferson today looks at me like she wants to rip my head off because she knows what she's done and she wants to keep a lid on this. And it's coming out to the community that, hey, on your watch, we have a private jail that's abusing inmates. A private jail that makes a lot of money into this county. A private jail that does not fall under the Department of Corrections.
Exactly. It does not fall under the Department of Corrections. So who's governing this jail? Who's governing?
Well, Sheriff Glenhill tells you I'm not in charge of the jail.
He's not in charge, but he has a mandated position on the jail board.
Well, Exactly. He has a mandated position. And the minute you talk about the jail or the Commonwealth attorney, who's a board member who oversees the jail, he comes out and puts you in handcuffs. But he's not in charge of the jail. But he has no problem putting you in handcuffs and trespassing you off the property, criminally charging you for talking about the conditions inside this jail.
A private jail. A private jail with no oversight. That's what it is. You have Commonwealth Attorney Amy Ashworth taking up a seat on this jail board. This jail board is supposed to have public meetings every 2 months, and all of a sudden we went to one meeting. Okay, we posted it to social media, and all of a sudden these meetings are no longer public.
You're talking about the jail board meetings?
Jail board meetings.
The same jail board meetings that Sheriff Glenn Hill, when I first interacted with him a year ago, he told me, come to the jail board meeting. I'll help you. I'll put in a request. We'll bring out the video of the CCTV. Nothing happened.
They're trying
My
to gaslight
correction,
the
gaslight the conversation.
They want to gaslight the conversation. And the moment you get traction, I mean, the video we posted from the jail board received over 7 million views on social media. And
They shut down the board meetings.
as soon as these videos went viral on the internet, they shut down every board meeting forward. Now you have to submit your question in writing through email. And then you can only watch the board meeting on YouTube
That is crazy.
after it's happened.
I mean, it's hard enough when you're there and they only give you 3 minutes to talk and they shut you up as me the 3 minutes is over
not only
and they
that,
don't even address anything.
not only that, but they only allow
Oh.
6 people.
Yep.
6 people.
That
to
is crazy.
enter the meeting.
That is crazy.
Imagine a community of millions of people, and you can only let 6 people come up. 6 people. Imagine 6 people can come up to the jail board meeting. Okay? And when it gets traction on the internet about what they're doing inside this jail, they shut it down.
They shut it down. There is no more public meeting.
They
And
can
you,
have it.
and you know what they're playing? They're playing these games where they're tiptoeing around what's legal and what's not. I was talking to someone I was asking, I was like, how is it legal to have a public board meeting private? He says, well, technically, what they're doing is the fact that they're on YouTube, that they're releasing a live audio from the meeting, is still public. You're gaslighting the community when you're tiptoeing around legalities to conceal what goes on. I mean, isn't this supposed to be a public format where I can go in and talk to the sheriff and talk to Amy Ashworth, who's a jail board member, and the chief of police, who's a jail board member, about what's going on inside my county jail? But I can't. You literally can't anymore because now the community is watching what goes on inside this jail.
And by the way, that's what Abigail Spanberger does with her town halls. They're all through the phone, and when you log in through the phone system, the answer machine asks you to put in your question,
Of course.
and depending on the question, I mean, if you're kissing her ass, they'll put you through. Okay, but if you have a serious question that she doesn't like, they'll just disconnect you, or they'll tell you, we'll follow up with you, but we can't have your question get asked on this town hall, on this phone town hall. I mean, the good thing about the current representatives like Alexander Vindman and Delegate King is that they have live town halls where you physically go in, and if you do have a concern or a question, they give you the mic and you ask your question. That's the good thing about our current representation.
You know, the beautiful thing about Delegate King is after I talked about the Tatiana David, you got up and you talked about Mustafa's file, and I talked about the Tatiana David file. Delegate King actually sent someone that is on her staff to make sure she gets my contact. And she said, the delegate wanted me to make sure I get your contact so I can stay in touch with you and follow up about what you talked about.
I mean, that's the kind of representation.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's what you want out of your delegates. Why can't Amy Ashworth, Sheriff Glenn Hill, Chief of Police Peter Newsham do the same thing? I mean, accountability is important in our community.
We just want to talk. We want to talk about what's going on, and we want accountability. Okay? You know, I was telling someone earlier is that whatever is happening here, like, this is not something that's never been done before. It's not something that's never happened before. There are laws on the books against people abusing other people. Okay? No correctional officer has the right to put someone in shackles and then beat on them. No correction. I mean, I read the handbook, the Prince William County Jail handbook. Nowhere in there does it say that correctional officers can shut off your water supply, take away your clothing, take away your mattress, beat you up, deprive you food, deprive you medical. None of that stuff is legal. Okay? And we're asking for accountability. Okay? When more than one person comes up, okay, and says that I was stripped naked by this correctional officer, you have another inmate from a different pod say the same thing. Another person say the same thing. It's multiple
Complaining about the same correctional officers.
the same correctional officers with the same type of abuse. Sexual assault, taking pictures of naked people, taking pictures of female inmates. Okay? It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And these are pre-trial detainees. This is a local county jail. This is not prison. These people haven't been sentenced.
I don't think a
They're
lot.
doing life. These people could be out tomorrow.
You know, I don't think a lot of people realize the gravity of the situation. This is not prison. This is your county jail. Your daughter can end up in there for whatever reason. Your son can end up in there for whatever reason. And then you're going to be in a situation where you go up to your sheriff and you ask him about conditions of your daughter, of your son in that county jail. I mean, imagine a situation. I mean, these are actual situation. An 18-year-old, Juan Campos, was incarcerated for 9 days. 9 days he was found unresponsive. I mean, you want to tell me anybody can end up in that county jail. You're innocent until proven guilty. You're waiting for your day in court. You go up in front of the judge and tell him, Your Honor, here are my evidence.
I mean, you would think
I'm innocent.
You would think
You have your court. But to tell me that within that period of time where you're in a county jail waiting for your day in court, you're innocent or proven guilty, you're going to be dealing with correctional officers that can't help themselves but be aggressive with your daughter, with your son. I mean, how is that okay? And you're going to be in a situation where you go to Deshandra Jefferson and you tell her, ma'am, my loved one is inside this county jail. They're innocent, and this happened to them. They were abused by such and such correctional officer. She's going to tell you, go to the jail board. You go to the jail board, and you find out it's a private meeting. Sheriff Glenhill says, it's not my jail. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth doesn't want to talk to you. Chief of Police Peter Lucian doesn't want to talk to you. These are the individuals that are in charge of the jail. You go up to your governor, Governor Youngkin, and he refers you back to the jail board. And the circle continues. And in the process, you're going to wake up to your reality where your loved one is going to end up like that 18-year-old, Juan Campos, who died last year. March 27, 2023, an 18-year-old was found unresponsive.
and they swept it under the rug.
They swept it under the rug. Inmates are coming forward telling this community, I have recordings, where they saw a correctional officer, Eric Lindsay, go into that cell, beat him up the day before. The next day he was found unresponsive. I mean, if you think that this will never happen to you,
Think again.
think again. This is your community, and you allow this to happen. I mean, if you're not going to address it, if you're not going to pick up the phone, write up an email to your local delegate about this situation, you're allowing this to happen. And your loved one could be dealing with it. You could be dealing with it.
I mean, think about it like this. Okay? There's a video on YouTube of a huge protest at Prince William County. There's a huge protest. Black Lives Matter,
You're talking about 2023?
NAACP. You know, there's so many organizations in that video, and there's so many people, and it's a lot of young people, and they're asking the Sheriff Glenhill, they're telling him, why are you restricting us to this point?
Sorry
Why
about
are you
this.
stopping us here?
You're talking about this video?
Always designate this area right where you are. The movement's right over there, but today this is I let you stand here. Normally that's our area right here.
I know it's a better one.
Huh?
You know it's a better one. But in summary, it's all public property. Okay? It's all public property. And, you know, we understand, like, order, you know, when you have a large protest. But the problem here is they're asking him, one of the young people is asking him, they're saying, why can't we be in that public space? Why do you get to dictate what is and isn't public? I mean, First Amendment is First Amendment. Okay? And he says, because I said so. Because you said so. I mean, okay, we understand you're the sheriff, but even you have to abide by the law. He says, because I said so. Okay? So Amar was in that circle, and at some point, the sheriff didn't like the message that Amar was relaying.
I held a banner that says, Amy Ashworth allows a jail to murder inmates. Now, Amy Ashworth is a jail board member who, on her watch, inmates are dying. And I'm protesting, peacefully protesting. It's a park. It has a tree, it has a bench, it has a cigarette ash tray.
And by the way, we were within the rules. You know, there's a limit. There's a number of people that you need to have to obtain a permit. We were below that number. So we were within the rules of Prince William County. You don't need a permit if you have a certain number of individuals, okay? Amar here was making a video, and because the sheriff did not like it, he came out and arrested him.
And I promise you, why? I'm exercising my First Amendment. Why would you arrest me for exercising my First Amendment? No, sir. This is public property.
Because I said so.
I'm not using a bullhorn. The bullhorn is right there. I'm not using it. You're gonna arrest me for what? Exercising my First Amendment on public property? I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. I'm here. I've got a sign that says Amy Ashworth is protecting it.
He says designated area. The disturbing part about this whole thing, it's only one person. It's only one person. I'm only one person. And then the other individuals is my mother, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my sister. What do you need a designated area if it's only a handful of people? What are you talking about?
It's a power play. They want to tell you, I control what you do.
I mean, this is all public property. There are no signs that are
If I say
posted.
move back, you got to move back.
Take that sign and go over there. That's what he said. And when I asked him, I said, "What? Or you'll be arrested. Or you'll be arrested." I asked him 4 times, "What am I being arrested, sir? I'm looking at a tree. I'm looking at a bench. I'm looking at an ash tray where I'm standing, and there are no signs that says private property. This is public property. I'm asking him, what am I going to be arrested?" He said, "Go over there, like you're being told, or you're going to be arrested." 4 times he told me, "Just go over there, like I'm telling you." Now, what happened to the First Amendment, Sheriff?
He doesn't believe in it.
And then he puts you in handcuffs.
Puts you in handcuffs. If they don't like the message, they'll trespass you to get rid of you, or they'll arrest you. And then when they arrest you, they'll put you in the jail where they get to abuse you. And you get abused continuously until you take Amy Ashworth her plea deals. If you don't take her plea deals, they'll throw you in a corner, cover up your door, your windows, and put you in solitary confinement. That's how it works in Prince William County.
The disturbing part about this whole thing is, so I get arrested. Sheriff Glen Hill criminally charged me with a misdemeanor and trespassed me off the whole property. Fast forward 9 months later, I have my jury trial. Sheriff Glen Hill lies on the stand. There's a recording on the internet. His deputies lie on the stand to keep their job. There's a recording. This is all on the record. There's a recording on the internet. I mean, what happened to having integrity as a sheriff? I mean, what happened to having a sheriff? Can you imagine a situation if I didn't have the video? You know, unfortunately for the sheriff, there is a video of the incident. And 7 jurors told the sheriff Sheriff, there is a First Amendment in our community. 7 jurors, not 1, not 2, not 3. All 7 jurors told the sheriff, you're wrong. In this community, we do have a First Amendment. This sheriff is on a power trip. I mean, last year he does it with that protest. He's like, go over there because I said so.
I said so.
Because I said so. Well, I didn't know that this is the United States of Sheriff Glen Hill. Apparently to him, that's how he looks at it.
You know, the one thing that is like the one thing that's annoying is that like he's old school. You know, like he's an older person. Okay? He says, talk to me. Right? Talk to me. Like, you don't have to go file a case against me if there's a disagreement. Talk to me and we'll come up to a solution. I'm a fair person. That's what he says.
No,
I'm a
he's
fair
not.
person.
No, he's
Okay.
not. He's a liar.
Talk to me and
He lied on the stand.
we'll get it resolved.
He lied when you were there. He would tell you one thing and then
I mean, he definitely lies. That, you know,
I was right there.
that you can take that to the bank. They lie, they falsify. It's they'll do whatever it takes to get out of a pickle. Okay. I was told to bring in a piece of evidence, and they lied about it. Just flat out lie. I mean, they saw the item, they saw the dash cam, okay, and they said I brought in a GoPro.
You got court on Thursday, right? It's coming up.
I have court this Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure they know what a GoPro is, to be honest with you. Do they even know what a GoPro is?
I would not be surprised if they don't even know what a GoPro is.
I don't think they know what a GoPro is. He says I brought in a GoPro. I mean, Glen Hill doesn't look like you know what a GoPro is. Okay, but they,
I mean,
they lie.
would you be surprised? He's a 7-year-old man that walks around with a diaper. On that note, I want to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors to this YouTube is Depends. Depends is an adult diaper that the sheriff, this is his favorite brand. And we've been talking about the sheriff so much that they've reached out to us and now they're sponsoring our YouTube. So this podcast is sponsored by the diaper that the sheriff wears for. This man is a 7-year-old man that walks around with a diaper. I mean, that's disturbing. I mean, it must do something to the community to know that our sheriff walks around with a diaper. I mean, great. We have a Republican. Great. We have a black Republican as a sheriff. Great. But is that enough? On social media, you can hear Sheriff Glen Hill on the stand lie about the whole entire situation. That's on video.
You know, I wonder what they're going to say on Thursday, because in their incident report, they admit that they took the dash cam, they scanned it through the machine, they examined it physically, and then they handed it over to me inside the courtroom. And then they say that this was a GoPro. Now, number one, if you're claiming this is a GoPro, and you don't allow...
Why would you let it in?
If you don't allow recording devices into the courtroom, why did you allow it in 4 different occasions?
So you're telling me you went through the scanner, they opened it up, looked at it, okay, it's a GoPro, there you go, sir. You had to go through it 4 times.
4 times.
And then a month later, you were trespassed a month later, right?
3 weeks later. I was
3 weeks later.
And they told me 3 weeks ago you brought in an unauthorized item.
That is
I was
disturbing.
thinking, what item? No, seriously, I was like, which item are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not until a few days later that I find out that they're talking about the dash cam that they let in.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. I just instantly canceled it. Yeah. So they let this item, this GoPro, 4 times.
For a sheriff, you would think that to be the sheriff of a county, especially a large county like Prince William, that he would have integrity, he would have honesty as his top priority. The sheriff's office and the community.
What do you mean? You're upset because he lied to you? This man put me in handcuffs. He talked to me about a bullhorn. I follow his rule about a bullhorn. And in that video, you see that I'm pleading to the sheriff. I'm like, Sheriff, the bullhorn's right here. I'm not using it. And I'm telling him, I'm following your law, whatever policy that you already talked to me about. The bullhorn is right here. I'm not using it. Why am I getting arrested? This is public property.
That's the thing, is that he'll lie.
He talked to me. I'm following his directive, and then he puts you in handcuffs. And you're telling me you're
Follow his
upset?
directive.
I'm following his directive. I'm following everything that he's telling me to do. I'm really confused. Like, if you watch that video, like, I was actually confused. And I think, and I'll tell you what's disturbing. I was more confused going through the trial because this sheriff, he says the unwritten policy of this area is in my head. Well, Sheriff, you said what the policy is 4 different times, 4 different ways.
You changed it 4 times.
You changed it 4 times. And your deputies are doing their best to lie for you.
How can the sheriff not know what the First Amendment is? Anybody can tell you.
It's disturbing.
Public space, First Amendment. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to know what that is. Okay? But this sheriff continuously changed his answer, and he was really he was really hoping that Sharon Pandak was going to get him out of this pickle, that the judge was going to cover up for him and rule for him regardless, and that's what happened.
That's what happened with Judge Irby.
No, before Judge Irby.
Oh, you're talking about in general district court?
I mean, in general district
and just
court.
it's disturbing. I mean, the recording is right there on the internet.
The judge says, I golf with you, Sheriff. That clearly they identified that there is a relationship between the sheriff and the judge. I mean, what kind of sheriff wouldn't have a relationship with the judges? I mean, he's the sheriff. Okay, he knows every judge in that county.
But to flat out say it,
not only to flat out say it, but for the judge to rule against the evidence.
I can't believe he did that. He literally in general district flat out avoided all the evidence. The whole situation is on video. The case law out of the Supreme Court protects a constitutional protected activity. He rules flat out against the evidence. He said there is a case law that pertains to you and it does protect you, but I'm going to find you guilty. What?
And then if you remember at the time,
I think there's a button on here that says that yells like that, right? What?
And then Blake says,
I swear to God, that's how I felt. You got it?
It's for like small disputes. It's not,
I'm going to appeal it for you, he says. And then we finally appeal it to circuit court.
And you're thinking circuit court.
I'm thinking
the court of record.
That's
right?
it. Yep.
That's what they call it, the court of record. And then you get
Jeanette Irby, a 7-year-old woman behind the bench that blocks and cherry picks what the jury is going to hear during a motion to dismiss. So before I had my jury trial, there was a motion to dismiss. And they brought in, out of retirement, I mean, process what I'm talking about here. They literally brought in a lady that's not practicing law, that's not a judge, literally out of retirement. She has this gig that she does online classes where if you have a dispute with your spouse, you're gonna reach out to her on her website, and for $400 an hour, she's gonna mediate between you and your spouse. Literally, that's what she's doing. And I have a hard time believing that she's actually getting client. I think she's embezzling the county. I think she has relationships with county officials. From what I saw, I mean, we gotta throw in allegedly because from what I saw, and the relationship she has with Sheriff Glen Hill is disturbing. She's literally ruling against the evidence, cherry picking what the jury will hear. I mean, how is it fair that I can have a jury trial if the evidence is not going to make it to the jury? There's a case law out of the Supreme Court It's called the good faith argument, where the whole entire case is the good faith argument. And what this case law does, that if you believe that you're on a property, that you have every right to be there, and you're not disorderly, and you're exercising your First Amendment, which in this case, it applies to me being in that area. Because, one, according to the sheriff, according to the video shows I'm not disorderly. I'm literally recording a video. The sheriff says I was not disorderly, even though he arrested me for disorderly. He gets on the stand and he says, oh, wait a minute, you have a video? I can't say he was disorderly. He says I was not disorderly. This case law protects me because there are no signs that are posted that this is private property. There's a tree, there's a bench, there's a cigarette ashen tray right there where you can smoke cigarettes. There are steps. This property is inviting. It invites you in. It looks like public property. But this sheriff, in his head, he says, I have an unwritten policy and this is not private property. This is not public property. What do you mean? How am I supposed to know what's in your head, sir? It's not posted anywhere. So the good faith argument protects you because what it does, the case law out of the Supreme Court says that a deputy sheriff, a police officer, a sheriff, a law enforcement cannot, one, trespass you, and two, cannot criminally charge you, and three, cannot arrest you. It's illegal. The Constitution protects you. So what they did in the motion to dismiss, they brought in this 7-year-old lady out of retirement. They literally brought her out of the grave. They literally summoned her from the dead. And I'm looking at this judge. She literally blocked that case law from the jury to hear the whole entire argument. So now you've got a situation where the only thing the jury is going to hear is that I was on a piece of property and the sheriff told me to leave and I said, I have a First Amendment. I mean, they're cherry picking what the jury is going to hear. And they can't, and now she made it illegal that the jury is going to hear the rest of the case. Now, unfortunately for this judge, in my jury trial, there was an opportunity where I took the stand and it was a different judge in the jury trial. It wasn't Jeanette Irby. So Jeanette Irby was just there to block that motion from the jury to hear the good faith argument. They literally just brought her for one thing. By the way, it's unconstitutional. What she did is illegal. But she doesn't care. They brought her out of retirement. So even if you were to complain about her, who are you complaining about? She's going back to the dead. She's going back into her grave. Have you seen those vampires that get summoned out of their coffin? I swear to God, she's literally going back into her coffin. She comes out from the coffin like the living dead, and she goes right back. So even if I were to complain about her, it wouldn't matter. But how is that legal? I mean, how is that legal? You're supposed, when you hear jury trial, you would automatically assume that the jury is going to hear the whole entire story. But in Prince William County, they've got judges on a payroll. And that lady, she has a gig, and I promise you, what she's doing with that gig is she's getting kickbacks when she does favors for individuals in this county. who's going to pay her $400 to mediate his relationship or her relationship with her spouse. I promise you, she can. Have you seen a blind squirrel? Even a blind squirrel will find a walnut. In her case, how could she mediate for anybody if she can barely navigate her way out of the building? I mean, you should have seen how she's talking about the property. She's like, if I was coming to work, first of all, lady, you don't work. You do not work. You're a retired judge. Stay home. Take care of your grandkids. Garden, for the love of God. Go Home Depot and garden. That's what you do. She's like, if I go into the courthouse and I see a protester, it might disturb me in my proceeding when I entered and I'm presiding over a case. Lady, you do not preside over anything. If I had a chicken farm, I would not let you preside over my chicken farm. In this county, what's terrifying and disturbing is they will bring in these judges only to block evidence and certain motions from reaching the jury. That's not okay. That's a violation of due process. I mean, it almost worked. In my jury trial, I was given the option to take the stand, and the presiding judge that day was the most amazing man in the world. Not because he did his job. He was fair to me. He was fair to the prosecutor. He did his job. I mean, all we're asking is for an impartial judge. I'm sitting here shocked that I had an impartial judge. And then so the sheriff got on the stand, flat out lied about everything. And when I tell you lied, you don't have to take my word for it. This is on the record. There's an audio on the internet of the recording of inside the court where the judge, you get to hear what Sheriff Glenhill is talking about. Now, Sheriff Glenhill changed his deposition. In general district court, it was one thing. In the motion to dismiss, it was completely different. In the jury trial, it was completely different. He flat out lied about the whole entire situation. You don't have to take my word for it. Go on social media. Go on our YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast. Go on our TikTok. Go on our Instagram, Facebook. You'll find the sheriff, the proceeding, the recording of the proceeding on the internet, where you get to hear our sheriff lie about the whole entire situation. His deputies are lying for the sheriff. Their deposition kept on changing. So then I take the stand. I had an opportunity to take the stand, and you've got 7 jurors. And because I took the stand, the good faith argument had to be entered. Because when you described the situation, that case law applies to you. And the judge ruled to bring it back in. There is a tree. There is an ashen tray where you can smoke cigarettes. There is a bench. There are steps. It's a park. It's a public property. It looks inviting. And that case law applies to you. So that case law got introduced, and the jury got to hear what I had to say. And I swear to God, I tore that sheriff a brand new asshole. The jury fell in love with me. 7 jurors. They all said the sheriff is in the wrong. I was found not guilty. And it's beautiful because Sheriff Glenhill prides himself when he arrested me, when that he's elected by the people. Yes, you're elected by the people to protect this community, uphold the Constitution, uphold the oath that you swore, not be a dictator and do whatever you want. He prides himself. He says, the people elected me. Yes, I agree. Well, Sheriff, the people told you that you are wrong. And you stepped all over the First Amendment. My favorite part was Deputy Terry, who told my brother Muhammad when I was arrested, some video, told my beautiful mother, we told him to listen. 3 times. I think his favorite is baseball because he kept on saying, not once, not twice, not 3 times. 3 times. He sounds like a... He felt so strong about my arrest. Now it's interesting because in the motion to dismiss, when my lawyer subpoenaed him, he pretended he was sick. What's going on, Deputy Terry? I thought you felt so strong about my arrest. Why did you not take the stand? And right in front of him, he saw the jury. After I took the stand, he saw the jury. Not 1, not 2, not 3, all 7, just like baseball. All 7. Got to tell his sheriff that he was wrong. And the First Amendment does apply in Prince William County. We're going to be moving forward now that I'm no longer trespassed. I was found not guilty unanimously by the jury. I'm going to be filing a civil lawsuit. And we're going to hold the sheriff accountable so he doesn't do this to another individual in this county. We FOIA requested the body cams. I got an email today from the county. I need my goddamn body cams. Got an email from the county. You know, Amy Ashworth liked to seal off documents, body cams. She was sued $22,000 for violating FOIA. That's all over the news. How embarrassing to have a county attorney, a Commonwealth attorney, to be engaged in concealment. From what I'm tracking about Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, Missy, absolutely, you're absolutely right. They think they can do whatever they want. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth is engaging in concealment. I mean, if you have nothing to hide, why are you sealing off body cams? Anytime, Hassoun, you wanna have Mustafa talk? Hassoun, you wanna have Mustafa talk? We have Mustafa on the phone. I want to bring him into the conversation. Hassoun, you want to have Mustafa talk? Yeah. Amy Ashworth engages in concealment. Anytime you have police misconduct, and instead of having accountability, she goes to a judge, and she get a judge to sign off on an order to seal off body cams. That's what Amy Ashworth does. And now she's being sued for $22,000 for violating FOIA
So far.
so far. Now, I was telling everybody, Mohammed, thank you for joining the conversation. I was telling everybody I got an email that my body cams for my arrest is being processed. Now, Amy Ashworth, I'd like to tell you, if you think that you're going to violate my FOIA, think again. You're dealing with a paralegal that's very versed with the law. And if you haven't learned that by now, let me introduce myself. I'm the guy that put your attorney on a stretcher. I've got a file today that I came from federal court, and the stuff that she's doing is disturbing.
I mean, to lie to federal court,
To lie to federal court.
I think Elaine is sadly digging herself in a very deep, troublesome, illegal hole that I mean, after reading what she posted to the courts on the record, it's going to be very hard, difficult to dig her way out of this one.
You know, I'll tell you, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. Mustafa, hello.
Hello.
Mustafa, before we dive in and have you fully go into a conversation on this podcast, I'd like to introduce myself to Amy Ashworth. Amy Ashworth, Mustafa brother, put your attorney on a stretcher. Her picture is all over the internet. You mechanize and use that attorney to come after me. Well, I put your attorney on a stretcher. I'm the guy that put the sheriff on a stand and beat your sheriff in his house. I beat him in his house. I'm the guy that got the sheriff to fire his own lawyer. And that's the jail lawyer. Pandak is his lawyer. Sharon Pandak is his lawyer. And she's also the jail lawyer, the county jail's lawyer. I got the sheriff to fire his own lawyer. So think twice before you violate my FOIA. You've got 7 days. I'll promise you, I'm going to sue for them. And I'll promise you, you're going to be held accountable by law. God help you if you violate my FOIA, because I'm going to hold you accountable by law. I need my body cams. The community demand the body cam, because in our community, we do have a First Amendment. And when we have a sheriff that think this is the United States of Sheriff Glenn Hill, we have to put a stop to it. First, before we have to have exposure, we have to talk about it. And I can't talk about it if I don't have the videos. I need my goddamn videos, man. I need my body cams. These are my body cams. Don't let me take them the old-fashioned way. I got sticky fingers. Mohammed, got sticky fingers. And there is a leak within your police department. What do they call them? 5-finger cell? Sticky fingers?
A mole?
Huh?
A mole?
There is a mole within your department. How do you feel that your police officers are supplying Mustafa brother with police body cams, documents, and you got deputies that are recording inside the court? Sheriff Glenn Hill says, Mustafa, Sheriff Glenn Hill goes to Muhammad and he tells him, I have a full-blown investigation into your brother, and I'm going to get to the bottom of which deputy is recording for your brother. What?
Amy Ashworth.
By the way, Mustafa, there is no way that I'm recording, because they take, I don't have a cell phone, they take everything, they scan you from head to toe, and they've got a giant apparatus machine just for me when I enter court. So, you know I'm not recording, but your deputies are recording for me. Thank you. Thank you for the background. You know, it was beautiful. Mustafa, I love you, man.
Yeah.
By the way, your voice is very loud on the microphone.
Oh yeah, well, hear me loud and clear. It's very obvious that a lot of people are not okay with abuse. Abuse is a clear term. You can't change it. You can't mask it. No matter how much you try to Febreze the smell, it stinks.
It does
And
stink.
there's a lot of abusive people in these positions that need to be held accountable for what they're doing to people. Like today, for example, I had one of these officers here. They took my lunch bag and just threw it on the floor. Why would you take my food and throw it on the floor? I'm
Well-
not a dog.
What was the name of that correctional officer?
Well, unfortunately for him, I'm gonna have to say it because I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. This is Master Jail Officer Jesse Jonathan Canas.
Oh, Canas.
The same officer who one time told me when I was in cell 12, he said, "Oh, you killed your girlfriend, whatever," saying nasty things about my case.
Sheriff Glenn Hill says his officers will never do that.
Sheriff Glenn Hill is a liar.
Sheriff Glenn Hill is a liar.
You're supposed to uphold your oath.
You know,
You're
Mustafa.
supposed to serve and protect.
Isn't
Unfortunately for Canas
the guy
and
that used to not give you the phone, skip you on the phone?
unfortunately for Canas, your body cams and your discovery documents, the same discovery and body cam that Amy Ashworth sealed off, is all over the internet, and it shows that this is a vehicle accident. That the police department falsified every police report in the discovery
They
and turned
the
it
warrant.
into
the warrant. It's falsified.
the warrant is falsified, and every police report is falsified. And now you've got the documentation all over the internet. You've got body cams all over the internet, and the community is watching that they're turning a vehicle accident into a murder.
Exactly, and look at what they're doing to me here. They're saying I'm not eligible for any program. Who said that? Sergeant Christina McDonald. She says that she is the leader of classification, and I'm not eligible for any programs at all.
I mean,
Not even religious services, not pastoral services. I'm not even allowed to grieve. I've been crying for a whole year about Dorothy and Empress. Not 1 second has anyone came up to me and said, my condolences, or I'm sorry for your loss, or anything. They
so
treat me
you're,
like a
you're not
murderer.
allowed. You're not allowed religious. Any religious activity. You're not allowed any. You're not even allowed rec. And if-
For 7 months. By the way, I got a call from an inmate inside the jail. In D, he was in D pod. Now he's in C pod, and he told me about the rec situation. That for almost over 7 months, he doesn't have rec. And the minute that he talked to a correctional officer about it, what they did. This is what they did to this inmate. I have a recording of the whole entire conversation. I'm gonna post it. He says that they transfer him to population, correctional officer, classification, Miss McDonald. Miss McDonald, remember that name, Mustafa. Miss McDonald, Sergeant.
Christina McDonald.
Trans-
Sergeant
yeah.
Christina McDonald.
What she did, she transferred him to population, and he said, the correctional officers, because I complained about not having rec, they set me up where they had inmate beat me up. And now I have my face is swollen, my eyes is swollen. They beat him up. And then they brought him back to C-Pod, which is solitary confinement. So the minute that you talk, the minute that you complain about a situation, you have individuals like Miss McDonald will set you up with other inmates to beat you up. I mean, I have a recording. Where is Sheriff Glenn Hill from addressing this inmate? Where is Sheriff Glenn Hill from addressing Miss McDonald's?
And you have a kid over here complaining about his food, trying to write a grievance, saying, he's fasting for Ramadan. What did they do to him? They run up in his cell, take his mattress, take all his property, and leave him in a cell, freezing. The AC is on blast.
I talked to him. It's you're talking about Dwayne Shaheen. Yep.
They're not going to give him his property back until the following night, just to teach him a lesson. So, First Sergeant Kennelly Darling and Sergeant Jeffrey Nordyke ran up in his cell, took all his property out just to teach him a lesson. They're imposing corporal punishment upon vulnerable inmates. We are vulnerable here in a controlled environment. I'm not allowed a grievance. I'm not allowed to grieve anything. I'm on grievance restriction.
How's that legal?
If I say one word, if I utter one word, consider myself just like, I don't know what. But good thing, all eyes on this jail, all eyes on me. Everybody know what the hell is going on in this dungeon of torture. But now, just yesterday, they gave me a 30-minute rec time with no basketball, no soccer ball, nothing. I'm not even allowed to use like equipment.
No.
Because the
No.
officer doesn't like balls. They said he doesn't like balls.
What is he has a thing against balls?
I guess so.
I mean,
And what's going on with why is he what's going on with why is he upset about balls? What's the name? What's the name of that correctional officer?
Watch Commander Lieutenant John Logan. And
Watch Commander John Logan. Our question to you is: do you have a personal problem? Do you have a problem with the balls? I mean, every time you see balls, you get
they love
upset.
balls.
They love balls.
These officers love
Logan
balls.
love balls.
I mean,
Interesting.
So far, from my understanding, is that they love strip searching people. What are they looking for?
He's
What are
looking
they
for balls.
If we're sitting here in total confinement, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what are they looking for?
I can tell you, it sounds like they're looking for
Like
balls.
private areas, just disgusting. And
That
you
is
have
disgusting.
Officers that act like they're doing checks.
I mean,
They're literally
when
watching girls unclothed, naked, against their will, while the females are utilizing the restroom. You have like, oh, I'm doing my check, but you're standing there for a long period of time. What are you looking at? What are you looking for? That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's like child. You're sitting here acting like, oh, I'm doing my check. You're supposed to make sure that they're breathing and everything is okay. You're not sitting there watching them utilize the restroom. You're disgusting. Against our wills. You have no expectation to privacy. But as a courtesy, you're not supposed to barge in here with your nasty boots and ransack my whole cell. What are you looking for? Like, stepping on my prayer rug, kicking my Quran around? For what? During the month of Ramadan? I'm fasting. I pray to God punish them. God is punishing them every single day. For Sergeant James Foster to get promoted to First Sergeant James Foster, he got a promotion. He's all walking high and mighty. That's the same officer that abused me last year.
it sounds like they're giving them hush money, giving them a raise, hush promotions. I mean, these are the same officers that are abusing inmates. I mean, we're watching a video, Mustafa, we're watching a CCTV video where 6 giant correctional officers enter your cell, take you out, unconscious, half naked from one cell into another cell before they abuse you and beat you again in another cell. This is a CCTV playing out on the internet of the same individual that you're talking about abusing other inmates.
You have, before they beat me up on May 24th, 2023, before they ran up in my cell, you have Sergeant Anthony Thompson with other officers with First Sergeant Darling, Canali Darling. They ran up in my cell, took Dorothy's pictures, took my everything that I had, all my property. Took it out, left me in a cell, just empty. I'm having like a breakdown, like I can't breathe, like what the hell just happened? And then within like minutes, next you know, I'm getting beat up. Sergeant Anthony Thompson, he was there. And then you have Sergeant Master Jail Officer Vincent Thompson. I don't know what the relationship is. Same last name, Thompsons. Maybe they're related through some sort of way. But these Thompsons right here are very, very violent. Vincent Thompson is a giant gorilla. You see him in that video. The way they ran.
We see him in the video, Mustafa. We see him in the video where he takes you out unconscious. You're limped over. You're being picked up, and then that giant correctional officer hits you on the head, kicks you as he's dragging you unconscious down the stair to another cell where they do and commit more abuse there.
Let me explain something. Officer Anthony Noah Tipton broke my right arm while they're stomping on me, beating me. Sergeant Roosevelt Daniels, alongside with the other officers, and Master Jail Officer Vincent Thompson. From what I'm learning today, he got his raise. His pay got over $140,000 from $70-some thousand.
For those that are just joining in, we have Mustafa from Prince William County, our county jail. Mustafa's been sitting in a county jail in solitary confinement for over 2 years, Every police report is falsified in his case. This is a vehicle accident that the county is turning into a murder. Mustafa lost his family in that vehicle. This is a vehicle accident. We have every piece of evidence that showed this is a vehicle accident. We have proof that we've submitted on the internet, body cams, document, the dash camera that shows this is a vehicle accident. And the police have turned this, falsified the police report, and turned it into a murder. People ask why. Mustafa had a lawsuit against the police before the vehicle accident. When you watch those body cams, you'll see that the police department are targeting Mustafa and are turning this vehicle accident into a murder. And when you talk about it, what you see on this video is what happened to Mustafa. The family, we're talking about it, we're open, we're talking about what they're doing to Mustafa, and then in the process, they go in, beat, abuse Mustafa. And when we talked about it at the time, they gaslighted and said nothing happened to Mustafa. Well, today we have the CCTV video, and this community is watching what this county is doing to a pretrial detainee. A pretrial detainee who have his police reports falsified. Mustafa has been in solitary confinement for over 3 years, without a preliminary hearing, without a trial, just sit in a county jail. With police reports are falsified. He lost his family in a tragic accident, only to wake up from a coma to police reports that are falsified. And when you talk about it, they beat you, they abuse you, and the community is watching. Mustafa, thank you for joining this podcast. I love you, man.
I appreciate it.
I love you.
Too, man.
Yeah.
I just want to say that, after they arrested me, they put me in jail, and then they beat the life out of me. I'm literally dying in my cell, literally, like, dead. I'm talking about on a string of life and death. That's how bad it was. I get beat up so bad that I black out, and I wake up in a bloodbath, naked. I'm naked in a room, freezing in a bloodbath, and I'm crawling on the floor because I cannot walk. They broke my knees. They broke my legs. They broke my arm. They beat me in the back of my head. I had craters on the back of my head. It felt like broccoli, like cauliflower. It was so bad. They beat me up so bad that I cannot imagine this is happening in America. I can imagine it happening in India, somewhere deep in the jungle somewhere. Somewhere in Zimbabwe, somewhere where there's no rights for anything and nobody's watching. But on American soil, I'm a law-abiding U.S. citizen. I've been in this country all my life. I'm 35 years old. I lost loved ones, dear precious loved ones. And I'm sitting here grieving, and I get beat up. And then the attorney, Casey Stevens, he tells the lead investigator, Robert Drum, how is Mustafa holding up?
We have that body cam.
Test on him.
We have that body cam. It's on the internet.
Competency test on me after they punch, stop with their large boots. Beat me up so bad. I'm sitting there in disarray, so scared, beyond scared. And you have the main culprits, such as Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford is out there, the rapist. Commonwealth, Amy Ashworth is okay with Glenn Ford being out there while he's raping. While they're raping, these are a bunch of rapists in here. And if they don't hold them accountable, then there's no rule of law. There's no law.
Oh, they're going to be held accountable. I can promise you that. I can promise you they're going to be held accountable by law.
Rapist. What is rape? Google the definition of rape, and you tell me what rape means. Against someone's will. They put me in handcuffs against my will. Took off my pants. Give me that shit. As they're beating the fuck out of me. I'm bleeding everywhere. Head to toe. Just imagine what the hell I went through and the PTSD I have every single day. They open up my door. It's really frightening. It's really scary.
Well, I'll tell you, the community is watching, Mustafa. The community is watching. You are not alone. This community is watching where they have your body cams, they have the documents in your discovery, and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth miserably failed at sealing off your discovery. And now everybody is watching. You have a giant voice in this community.
What is Amy Ashworth doing now? Doubling Vincent Thompson's pay and promoting James Foster from sergeant to first sergeant, giving them raises, giving them promotions. They're celebrating. What did Robert Trump do when I got arrested? He could not make it to court because Sarah Sammy, Assistant Commonwealth,
Says he was drunk.
Attorney Sarah Sammy,
He's hungover.
said that he had a hangover.
Yeah.
He had a hangover because they were celebrating. They were celebrating so much that he could not make it to court.
Well,
Well, celebration is over.
unfortunately,
If it wasn't for the recording,
Yep.
If it wasn't for the recording, he was not expecting the recording of the phone call. We would not be having
if it wasn't for Mohammed recording the phone call conversation, it would have been your word against the investigator's word. This investigator falsified the foundation of this case. They say that you said you were arguing with your girlfriend inside the vehicle.
Not only did he falsify it, he never recorded it on his body cam.
You never recorded on the body
The
cam.
prosecutor wants to act like, Your Honor, we can't find Robert Drum's recording, so we're going to play the brother's recording. Well, when we were looking through this file, there's no body cam that exists with Robert Drum talking to Mustafa. It does not exist. Okay, and
You know,
the prosecutor on 3 different occasions tells the judge, Your Honor, I can't find Robert Drum's recording. We don't have it, so we're going to play the brothers. How come this prosecutor never ever played Robert Drum's recording? And, matter of fact, even the lawyers say they can't find Robert Drum's recording.
because it never existed.
What do you mean?
Because it never
He never
existed.
What do you mean? Okay, hello. Let me look. I have the whole entire file. Any body cam, any document that's in the discovery, I have it. And I'll tell you,
The real question.
I opened that file, and it's not there because Drum never recorded the conversation.
The real question is, where is the DC officer's body cam?
That's a good question.
The first officer that says he was there at 6:36 p.m. when the accident occurred, and he began rolling on his body cam. He said he was still in uniform. He still had his body cam on. And the first thing he did was activate his body-worn camera. He wrote an affidavit that's in the discovery. He says, I uploaded my footage to evidence.com. Yet, here we are. Blake can't find it. Elate can't find it.
Really quick, I want to
We
thank
can't find it.
Really
Nobody
quick.
can find this body cam from
Look.
this DC cop that first arrived on the scene. Where's
not
his
there.
camera?
Exactly. They don't want to see
Margiotta.
anything that. Yeah.
Lieutenant Andrew Margiotta.
Oh, by the way, in the discovery it says that body cam has been uploaded to evidence.com. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not there.
It's definitely not there.
It's 100% not there.
Where is this body cam? Where is this body cam that shows the first officer to get on the scene when this accident happened? This officer was the first officer to approach the vehicle. It's going to show that music was playing very loud, according to the witnesses. It's going to show, who knows? Maybe it's going to show Mustafa's dash cam with the wire still connected.
Wow.
You're talking about Chad Mason that says the wire was cut.
Chad Mason claims that the wire was cut. And if you look at this camera, it looks like someone pulled the wire.
How was it cut? Mustafa, you can see Mustafa's hand in the dash camera. You can see Dorothy's hand. The only way this dash camera I can see that it was cut is if the airbag got deployed and then somehow pulled on the wire. But the camera cuts off before the airbag, before impact. So someone,
Or that's what they claim.
that's what they claim. They claim that this dash camera mysteriously got cut off before impact. Tell me how that's logically, unless they cut the camera.
Amar.
They manually cut the camera.
Amar, all you have to
Chad
do,
Mason did it.
all you have to do is pull up Chad Mason when he's talking about the wire that's cut. Just pull up that video.
Well,
And
why don't you
and
pull up the video
and for a
of
second,
Chad Mason saying to the other officer, make sure that your body camera is off while you're doing all that.
Make sure your body cam is off for all of it when you're talking to Mustafa.
look, there's a reason why they don't want Andrew. What's his name? Margiotta?
Yeah. Lieutenant Andrew Margiotta.
Lieutenant
DC
Andrew
police officer.
Lieutenant Andrew Margiotto with the Metropolitan DC Police. Okay, he said he was the first to arrive at the scene. At 6:36, he activated his body-worn camera. Now look at Chad Mason and how he talks about the dash cam wire being cut. And then everybody, you know, you look at the other officers, they're like, they have this weird look on their face.
Which one was it? Which body cam was it? I know I've seen it.
It's right there when he's like,
This one?
when he's like, I'm hungry as.
I know when he said I'm hungry, but which one?
When he gets hungry.
He's,
He gets hungry
he gets hungry all the time.
He says the wire is cut. All of a sudden, he's like, what does he say? I'm hungry as shit.
I'm hungry. He just changes the subject. They're asking him the most important part in this investigation. Is there cameras?
Are there cameras around?
Are there cameras? Yeah.
No, there's no cameras.
I'm hungry. Did you
All
guys
of a sudden,
eat?
He gets hungry.
Did you guys eat?
How disgusting. How could you be hungry at a time like this?
I think I got
Okay,
it.
you need to put that video on the, like, put it up on the screen. And just observe his body, like his facial expressions when he says the wire is cut.
This is what Amy Ashford is protecting. She's protecting her.
I mean, look, why is it so hard to have body cam footage and evidence that mysteriously or miraculously either doesn't work or disappears or doesn't exist? The recording between Mustafa and Drum doesn't exist. Miraculously, Robert Drum didn't record. This Lieutenant Andrew Margiotto, somehow his video is never there. I mean, he says in a sworn affidavit that he recorded on his body cam and then he uploaded it to evidence.com. Where is this footage? Where is this body cam? Where is this body cam? You're the first person to arrive at the accident scene. What are they so afraid of? What are they so afraid of? That this body cam, what is this body cam going to show? That they're so afraid of it.
Well, we know they failed to helicopter Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress. There is neglect. Are they avoiding neglect that was done at the scene? Are they avoiding? Yeah.
They put them on an ambulance during rush hour. How do you do that during rush hour? You're going to take someone from not even Woodbridge. We're talking about Dumfries, Virginia, from Dumfries all the way to Fairfax on an ambulance in critical condition during rush hour.
I mean, why are they so scared? Why are they so scared of footage at the time of the accident? Did Dorothy say something? Like, did she say something that they don't want it to be heard on body cam? Did Empress say something that they don't want to show on body cam? Did Mustafa say something like he's checking on Dorothy and Empress? They don't want this footage so bad. They're so scared of it that they are willing to delete an entire body cam.
You know, I can't find that body cam. I think it's posted on YouTube.
We know
I think it's posted on YouTube. I have to find it.
We know that Chad
but I'm going to find it and I'll post it.
We know that Chad Mason tells Officer Surdam not to record on his body cam.
I have the body cam. Before we go into that body cam, I want to let everybody know that, and I want to thank the deputy sheriffs in Prince William County that are supplying me with audio recordings of proceeding inside the court. Now, unfortunately for Amy Ashworth and Commonwealth Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, I've got Prosecutor Sarah Sammy in that proceeding. And everything that she says, the community is listening. And if you think I'm bluffing, let's hear the audio. A portion. We're going to have a whole entire podcast to go into the proceeding. Is that Sarah Sammy? Sarah? 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 I've got your voice on the internet.
That's a criminal right there. She's been blurting out fake things since the beginning.
Now, Mustafa, why is it so important and disturbing for Sarah Sammy to have her voice on the internet? Because she's been lying and Judge Weimer has been protecting her. What?
1 minute remaining.
What? Sarah? I've got your voice on the internet. And you may be able to lie on in court where Sheriff Glenn Hill doesn't let anybody record. Judge Weimer is protecting you. But now the community is going to hear your voice. They're watching the body cams. They're reading the documents. And they're finding out that you're just a piece of shit of a prosecutor. That you don't care about justice. You don't care about Dorothy. You don't care about 5-year-old Empress. You don't care about justice. You you just want to secure this prosecution, and you don't care how you get it, even if you have to lie your way out of it.
Even if you have to abuse,
Mustafa, even if you have to abuse an innocent person in the process.
even if you have to let a pedophile get away with abusing Kylie, Glenn Ford.
Prosecutor, your star witness is Glenn Ford, a pedophile.
Drugging and sleeping with a minor.
I have a recording where he says, I wake up.
With Kylie and my
He says he wakes up to a 16-year-old in his bed. That's your star witness, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy. I've got your voice on the internet, and we're deep dive into what you say. We're taking a deep dive out of it, back into it, back out of it. I'm like a dolphin. Have you seen a dolphin? How it dives into the water, dives out? I dive in, I take body cams, I come out. I give it to the community. I mean, I'm like Robin Hood. I'm like Robin Hood. I'm out here taking body cams, taking documents, coming out, diving out of this ocean like a dolphin, giving it to the body cams. I'm like, there you go. There you go. And then I go back into the ocean. Did you like that? Sarah Sam is like, okay, I'm dealing with a crazy man. Yes, you are. If you haven't realized that by now.
Your current balance,
I bet your mother is not proud of you. I bet your mother is like saying it with a Persian accent. So Prosecutor Sammy is originally Persian, and her poor mother is probably thinking with a Persian accent, I've raised a cunt. I have raised a cunt. I brought you to this country, raised you, and I thought you're honest. Why does it sound like The Godfather?
Quite clear.
Have you seen that one scene, Mustafa?
Yeah, it's quite clear. Sarah Sammy, when she
You gonna play music for me?
like took a hold of this case, she was reading from a piece of paper.
Have you seen the Trump dance, Mustafa? Have you seen the Trump dance? I'm winning, prosecutor. I'm winning.
Love it. You guys are so
Yeah, but look,
great.
That's what she sounds like.
Sarah Sammy, she was reading from a piece of paper, stuttering,
Interesting.
as she's
Interesting.
going along. Like right now she's at a position where she thinks she got the hang of it. She got this whole
Not on my watch.
Yeah, but it seems that she's thinking that she's getting away with whatever she's doing because everything is sealed. The jurors are sequestered. Everybody's trespassed from the court, and she can do whatever she wants.
I'm not trespassed.
People are gonna
Nothing
hold
is
her
sealed.
accountable.
Nothing is sealed. I've unsealed everything for you. I've unsealed everything for you. I put the sheriff on a stand. I beat him in his own house. I got him to fire his lawyer. Does the jail even have a lawyer anymore? I mean, I thought Sharon Pandak, is a jail lawyer.
She was.
She was. Elaine is on the stretcher. I mean, talk about losing on every front.
Time Zemo.
It is
Love No 4.
11:04.
Let me know when it's 11 so I can call real quick.
On that note, Mustafa, do you want to say anything before we end the podcast?
Yeah, most definitely. I just want to tell everybody I really appreciate your support during my difficult times. But just know that, they have all these criminals out there. Like the lawyer, Casey Stevens, he hit my mom in court, and the deputies didn't do anything about it. The law is not being applied here. It's being selectively used in their own interest. They have this evil narrative. They're retaliating against me. And I'm sitting here, just patiently waiting. If I wasn't strong, I would have been dead a long time ago. But
Mustafa.
I'm fighting, and I pray every day. And I really appreciate everyone that's supporting me.
One thing that they don't have is God. you have God on your side. And
Mustafa.
I think all this information being released, all this information coming out in your case that shows how they lied, how they've tampered with witnesses, tampered with evidence, or they destroyed evidence. I think all that is a testament that God is on your side, and these people are going to be exposed, if not already being exposed.
If anybody want to reach out to us, I just read a text. I'm sorry if I'm not keeping up with the chat. It's coming in so fast. If you can reach out to us, Olivia, you can reach out to us on Facebook. We'll add you to a group chat. Usually, when we go and podcast, I usually add people and engage them in a conversation. I'm just using all the devices right now, so our group chat is just went out the window.
I'll just say this.
But thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the conversations.
I'll say this. For the superintendent to run away the way he did, Peter Miletus. I mean, he hit the ground running. Okay, he was supposed to retire next year, but he ran away as soon as this federal lawsuit hit the docket. He ran away. Okay, he ran away. Now you see the jail lawyer running away. Okay, you have one of the officers that was involved in Mustafa's beating is nowhere to be found. Okay, I mean, the jail lawyer ran away. I mean, the sheriff, Amar, was found not guilty after this sheriff specifically was coming after him for exposing their abuse, what goes on behind these walls. And I think the tide is turning. Yeah, I think it's about to turn.
We're running low on batteries. I want to thank everybody for being here. When we come back in our podcast, the community is going to find out that the FBI that got involved in Mustafa's case had closed out the case in what month?
What is it?
The FBI that got involved, they closed out. When we come back, we'll have a whole podcast about this.
I'll just say this.
Yeah.
So I got communication back in 2023.
Make it brief. It's running out of battery.
Okay. Back in 2023, I got communications from the DOJ that my case that I filed on behalf of Mustafa was closed. Now, at the time, I asked FBI Special Agent Lindsay Coulter, who was directly working with us. I asked her if I should file another case because I got notification that the case was closed. She said, "You don't have to file another case because I can reopen it on my end." Now we're looking at
shutting down
information. We're looking at information that the FBI is claiming that closed. The FBI is claiming that the case was closed. Okay, and I have communications from her where she's telling me that the case is opened. So in private, they're telling the jail, they're telling the county, the FBI is telling the county that they've shut this case down in the fall of 2023.
But they're still having communication
Now,
and pretending that this is an ongoing
I have
investigation.
communication all the way throughout 2023 into 2024 where they're pretending like this case is still ongoing. And they're taking in evidence, they're taking in complaints. There's active communications between myself and the special agent. And they're telling the county and the jail on official documents that are sealed that the case has been closed and they've already concluded it. This
How
is complete.
does Kash Patel with the Department of Justice?
I mean, talk about corruption. Talk
This
about
is
corruption.
to its finest. How does Kash Patel with the Department of Justice like to know that we were sent FBI agents by the Department of Justice to pretend they're running an investigation when the investigation was closed out all along? This is going to be a separate podcast. This is a can of worms that we're going to unpack on the upcoming podcast. On that note, Mustafa, I love you. Thank you for being here.
You know, I'll just give this example.
Yeah.
Imagine you're talking to an officer about a supposed ongoing investigation, and the officer is still collecting information from you. He goes back to his office and he closes out your case. And then you have communications with that officer for many, many months later. Constant communication, giving him information. He's taking it in. There's communications back and forth about the same case that he already closed, but he's pretending like he's collecting your information. He's pretending like he's taking in evidence. He's still going out interviewing witnesses, doing all. I mean, this is what the FBI was doing in Manassas. They're pretending like they're investigating a case that now we have documentation that they've closed. But she was still taking in flash drives from me. She was still taking emails. There was communications back and forth, as if the case was opened. And when I specifically asked her, should I file another complaint with the DOJ? She says no, because I can reopen it on my end with our counterparts.
But it's been
the DOJ.
It was closed all along.
But now we know that the case was closed all along, and they were just fluff talking us.
We're gonna unpack Mustafa. It's 11:10. Do me a favor, call back before cutoff time. On that note, Mustafa, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the conversation. And this is Mustafa calling in from solitary confinement. He's been in solitary for over 2 years. No preliminary hearing, no trial. Every police report is falsified. And unfortunately for this county, we have the police reports all falsified. We're actively posting them on the internet. We've got the body cams that show the police report are falsified. This is a vehicle accident. The dash camera, the documents, the body cam, everything showed this is a vehicle accident, and Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. But the county falsified the police report and are turning it into a murder. We're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to hold this county accountable. And Mustafa, you're coming home. The same God that protected you in this vehicle accident, the same God that protected you when the correctional officer beat you in jail, is the same God that's at work putting all your body cam and documents all over the internet, is making this happen. Is the same God that's going to bring you home and bring your girlfriend, Dorothy, and bring 5-year-old Empress justice. I want to specifically thank, before I end the podcast, I want to thank Bustos, Christina Bustos. That woman is so beautiful that she saw our frustration with this equipment. I didn't even ask her. She saw our frustration, and she's upgrading our equipment, where we're going to have a better equipment, better sound, better equipment. Ma'am, thank you for being there. I love you, ma'am, and I'll pray for you every day. I want to specifically thank Farah, that beautiful woman that has been donating into Mustafa's legal fund. And
You want some, Daddy?
thank you for being there, ma'am.
Oh, no, thank you.
I want to specifically thank Shelly. There's a lot.
Song?
I want to specifically thank
Who is that?
Shelly,
They call from
that beautiful lady. Does a lot of things behind closed doors.
inmate at the Prince William
And thank you for being there, ma'am.
Your turn.
I want to thank Casey, the amount of stuff that she does. I want to thank Becky. I want to thank Stefana. I want everybody to pray for Stefana. Stefana is sick in the hospital. I want everybody to keep her in their prayers. I want to thank Dawn, that beautiful, beautiful woman, and the things that she does for this county. I want to thank Dre. Dre, thank you for being there, sir. I want to thank Shirley, and everybody that I'm forgetting. I've had a long day, so if I forgot someone, Charlotte, a beautiful, beautiful Charlotte.
I don't know who this person is on the chat,
Yeah,
but you blocked the other person that was trolling,
yeah.
and now there's another account saying that, like, just trolling again.
I want to thank our trolls. I want to thank Amy Hodgson. Ma'am, we do miss you. We've got your body cam. You're under Christine Alcuzai on TikTok, pretending to be someone else.
Michelle Vila.
Michelle
Christina
Vila,
Vila.
Michelle Christine Warda.
Christina Vila.
I mean, lady, you have so many identities. Now you're trolling the chat. Lady, we do miss you. We want you to
If
come
you-
back
okay,
to TikTok. And we want
I'll
you
just
to
look.
join the conversation.
Look, I'll say this.
By the way, just a recap, she's a person that pretended to be a witness in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case on a body cam with Drum, with the wife of the investigator, Stephanie Claiborne Drum, who is not with the police department, and now they're both on the internet trolling the conversation
Look.
under a different username. We do miss you guys. You've been trolling the conversation for 2 years. Come
Look.
back. Mustafa brother wants you to come back. Yes, sir.
I'll be right there. Look, I'll just say this. Look, I mean, I'm reading some of this chat, and what I'm gonna say is,
it makes no sense to be angry at Amar for talking about Tatiana David. Anybody that says, why are you talking about Tatiana? I mean, isn't that what Elaine is saying? Before you speak, let me just tell you.
Yeah.
Elaine is saying that Amar posted the Tatiana David video. That Amar is what did she say? She said
She called it
Gore porn?
Gore porn. But that's not what she said before.
That's not what she said behind closed doors.
By the way, behind closed doors, I have a video of what she said behind closed doors.
Okay.
Let me introduce myself to you. I record everything. So I have
Okay.
videos of Elaine talking about
So-
Tatiana David and how she's advocating for that black woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's advocating for her. She said, this is wrong.
That's what she says.
But now she says, oh, no one should release that video.
No one should release this video.
It's gore porn.
It's gore porn.
A black woman is shot and killed by the police. That woman has a family and she should get justice.
Yeah, Elaine
You want to
Jarvis.
conceal that video?
Elaine Jarvis drops that case. She drops the case because she was trolling it the whole time. She wasn't serious about Tatiana David. She was never serious about Tatiana David, legally speaking. She was never going to hold a case for Tatiana David. And she dropped it because she was only stalling that case. And that's what these lawyers do. They take on a case. They tell the family, don't talk about your case publicly. Don't talk about it. We'll get you justice through the justice system. And then all of a sudden, after 2 years, 3 years, they drop your case and they tell you, hey, good luck finding a lawyer.
Yep.
But they don't want you to talk about it so that the community could forget about it.
Yep.
So that there's no traction with the community. The community doesn't know what's going on. Everybody's forgotten about it. 3 years later, they drop your case, exactly what Elaine did to Tatiana David's brother. She dropped him like that. Okay? What's his recourse? Nothing. Nothing. She tells him, I'm not giving you the video, and I'm not holding your case. And there's nothing you can do about it. But this entire time, she told him, don't talk about Tatiana David's case.
Yep.
Don't talk about the case.
Yep.
She wants to bury it. She wants to cover up for these tyrants. She wants to cover up for these murderers. Okay? And then 2 or 3 years later, she'll just drop the case and get paid under the table by the county.
Tatiana
Okay?
David.
Now you have this
Yeah.
person coming online saying, why are you talking about Tatiana David? Why are you bringing her name up? Well, Tatiana David was murdered, and she deserves justice. Okay? And if you really are a family member of Tatiana David, you should be happy that somebody is attempting to get some kind of justice. I mean, she's gone. I don't know what kind of justice you can get. You can try to hold these people accountable for doing what they did to her. But, I mean, that woman had a son, she had a family, and she's gone. Okay? I mean, the least you could do, the bare minimum, is to say her name again. That's the bare minimum. If I had a family member that was abused, and I find somebody across the state screaming Mustafa Al-Jazari, justice for Mustafa Al-Jazari, posting his video where he's carried half naked down a flight of steps by some correctional officers, I would be saying, thank you. Thank you for bringing his name up. Thank you for showing the community what these tyrants did. But to come on Amar's chat and say, why are you talking about my sister? You know, I'll just say, I don't think you're the sister. I really don't think you're the sister. So I'll keep it respectful. I'll keep it at that. That's it.
We're going to continue to advocate for the individuals that we have.
You should be asking Amy Ashworth why she sealed that video. You
We're
should
gonna
be asking
continue.
state police why they shot 50 bullets into that car. That's where your question, that's where your anger should be towards the police department and the Commonwealth attorney that covered it up. Not somebody who's bringing up her name, attempting to get some sort of justice, however you may call that, justice. Okay?
We're going to continue to have a conversation. This county is very terrified. We have files that we're going to continue to be public about those files. And we're asking for accountability. On that note, thank you for being part of the conversation. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer, under the microscope.